playing catch-up nearly a year later.
Fall is typically a busy, bustling time of year here at Williamson Vineyards in rural Canyon County.
This is 107 years that we've been out here farming on the Sunny Slope area.
This year, though, it's pretty quiet among the vines. That's because, according to vineyard manager Patrick Williamson, the plants are still reeling from the rough winter they endured earlier this year.
Here at this location, I got down to minus 17 degrees.
Temperatures that frigid can and did have a destructive impact on the grapevines.
Think of it as like a pipe. So it freezes, the water in the cells burst, and so then it causes the cells to die once they thaw out.
That, in turn, leads to vines that have to work much harder than usual to grow once it gets warmer.
We have a 20-year-old, in some instances, a 20-year-old root system, so it'll grow back and come back, but the canopy, this part up here, still needs to get established.
It also means the plants don't produce much fruit the following fall. So one bad winter actually has a 2-year impact on the vineyard's harvest.
Because there's really no crop for me to give this year. So not in 18, but in 19, we'll be back to full.
Another unexpected and unwelcome consequence of the record-setting winter, a disease called crown gall that can develop in plants that have gone through a severe freezing event.
So this actually is kind of like a cancer that's going to eventually kill the vine.
The bacteria that causes the disease is ever present in the soil, but severe winters cause damage to the vines that allows that bacteria to get in. Patrick says he can save the plants from crown gall as long as it's caught in time.
So then you can cut up above, or cut the crown gall out, and then the new growth below that is going to be free of that infection.
Now, as winter approaches once again, the Williamsons can't do much but wait and see what Mother Nature doles out this time around. Patrick, though, is optimistic about their chances.
So as long as the roots are protected, we should be okay. Because, I mean, that's the nice thing with grapes. They're a weed that you can make money off of.
Rachel Garceau, 6 on your side.
That's a good way of putting it,
That's a great way of looking at it.
Ironically, Patrick told us the foot or more of snow that covered the ground for weeks out at the Sunny Slope area actually helped save the vines from further damage.
Well, the snow actually acted like a blanket or an insulator and protected that root system from the frigid conditions.
Well, it'd be nice to, well, of course, we'll stay tuned to Good Morning Idaho all week long as we bring these stories to you from our local wine industry for Idaho Wine Week. So we want the snow to stay up in the high country, right? That'd be nice. Whether it's the Farmer's Almanac or PTSD from last year's Snowmageddon, snow blowers are flying off showroom floors all over the valley.
Our sales are well over double, almost triple for this time of year. Right now we are fielding calls for probably 5-6 a day, and it's pretty common to send 2 or 3 out a day.
The cost starts around $500 for a basic paddle model that will handle pretty much anything that hits southwest Idaho. Coming up Wednesday on 6 on Your Side, Roland Barris takes a closer look at how we are preparing for a possible repeat performance by Mother Nature. Boise City leaders say a proposed 5,000-seat stadium won't hit you in the pocketbook and will actually bring money into the City of Trees. They say taxes will not increase to fund the multi-use stadium set to be built at the corner of Shoreline and Americana. They say that the feedback from public forums held this month was actually more positive than expected. This even after neighbors close to the site have voiced their concerns about parking and noise levels. A city spokesman credits education about the project for the change in opinion.
A lot of it was focused on just misinformation, and that was our biggest goal, as I mentioned in the council meeting, is giving people the right data and the latest data on both the neighborhood and the community needs, as well as where we are in the process with the project and the current phase that we're in, to make sure that people understood exactly what was happening and what would come next.
The next phase of the project, the mayor and council members will take a look at the financial structure, and then a land use survey will happen next spring. Your voice can still be heard. Simply email the mayor's office or attend the next public forum.
This week is considered Pro Bono Week across the Gem State. It's in honor of the hundreds of attorneys who donate free legal services. Last year alone, Idaho attorneys provided about 14,000 hours of free assistance. 6 on Your Side, Stephanie Hill-Lopez has more.
Folks everywhere need help to access the legal system.
The Constitution grants the right to legal counsel in criminal cases, but on the civil side, that's where experts say pro bono work makes the difference.
There are a lot of people that really don't have the resources to get their legal matters moving through the system.
Recognizing the need to provide free legal services for those with financial limitations, the Idaho Supreme Court encourages public and private sector attorneys to participate in pro bono work. Last year, 741 attorneys worked on more than 500 cases across the state during Pro Bono Week. And those numbers continue to grow. This year, the Idaho Volunteer Lawyers Program says more than 800 attorneys are participating in pro bono work, donating more than 14,000 hours of free services.
We receive about 5,000 calls to our office each year, and from that, we're able to provide services, direct case placement to about 600 of those individuals, and others go to legal clinics statewide. But there's a huge gap in services, and there's a proven need.
Stephanie Hill Lopez, 6 on your side.
In total, the free legal advice and counsel provided last year helped more than 1,300 people, services that were valued at nearly $3 million.
As Halloween approaches, you'll get reminded to be an attentive driver as more little ghouls and goblins take the streets. But at the Idaho Transportation Department, they want you to make the lifestyle change to always drive safely, no matter what time of year. The Shift Idaho campaign focuses on driving in the moment, free from distractions. The goal is to encourage conversations about engaged driving in order to cut down on preventable accidents and deaths on the roads.
What we're trying to focus on is our whole social ecology, not only individually, but then looking out for our friends, our families, our coworkers, taking it out to the community and then statewide. So that's what we want to focus on. Typically when we have our campaigns, we just kind of focused on the don't do this, don't do that. But what we want to do is engage people and have this be a lifestyle change.
Shift Idaho is also working with local businesses and organizations to improve workplace driving habits. More information on Shift Idaho is available at our website, 6onyourside.com. Coming up, President Trump traveled to the other end of Pennsylvania Avenue today to pitch his tax reform plan to lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Still ahead, another Twitter war threatens to derail GOP unity.
And in weather today, boy, that sun was shining brightly in most locations after a little bit of fog and some frost. Comfortable in the higher elevations. How long can this streak of nice weather last? I'll answer that coming up next.
You're watching 6 on Your Side with Don Nelson, Michelle Edmonds, and Scott Dorval with the On Your Side forecast. Now, Chief Meteorologist Scott Dorval with the On Your Side forecast.
What a beautiful day around the Churchill Valley today and all across the region. Beautiful view from our Toyota Dealers Tower Cam network, and you see that crystal clear sky over downtown Boise. Nice deep blue, and that's the way it is most locations right now. Look at the temperatures. 62 in Boise, a little cooler to the east at Idaho Falls at 57, 65 in Billings beginning to warm up. Look at the west coast. It is 90 degrees in San Francisco right now. 90. And here it is 83 in Medford. So heat along the coast. We have high pressure sitting right here, and that offshore flow going around blows downhill. When it goes downhill, it heats up and it pushes the marine layer off the coast. That's why right in San Francisco we're at 90, so it's hot right down to the coastline, and even warm in Medford at 83 while it's still 69 degrees in Portland as the wind is coming back onshore where that cooler weather is. So back east, they had all that heat not long ago while a plunge of cool air is pushing through. Currently 46 in Detroit and Chicago and Minneapolis, so no World Series up here in these northern states. We've got World Series teams of Houston and Los Angeles, and so if you've got an interest there, not usually getting very rainy weather, and it's 97 degrees in Los Angeles right now. Pretty impressive out there. Here's what's happening at Redfish Lake. Look at this morning, 20 degrees, low clouds and fog, and then gone. Just beautiful, crystal clear conditions. Amazing weather in the Stanley Basin. Great for photographers this morning with that sun coming through the light. Getting up to 61 right now. It's the same temperature in Stanley as it is in Boise right now. 26 degrees. Payette Lake, drier today. Only a little bit of a ripple in that water at times. Mostly clear and calm. Just vivid skies. Amazing conditions. Look at that sun reflecting off the lake here. And it looks like for hunters, we'll continue to see dry conditions through the week with snow still on the ground on the higher peaks. So great visibility out there. And here's your extended forecast for the higher elevations, even warming into the weekend back to 61. And these numbers might be a little too low, could be even still milder because of what we've been having lately. Do see a cool down coming in from Monday and for Tuesday with temperatures dropping back into the 40s. So crystal clear skies across the entire northwest. You don't see much of anything going on. And notice high pressure, that big ridge of high pressure. Look at that circle there. Very pleasant conditions all across the west. There's the ridge of high pressure with that offshore wind towards Northern California. This storm system here and these clouds will kind of follow the jet stream, and we'll get a few clouds moving from north to south, and a little disturbance tomorrow night could actually bring a sprinkle or two to Idaho's central and east central mountains very briefly tomorrow evening. This is the forecast through tomorrow. It's fine. There's tomorrow evening. You see it near McCall, this line at 10 o'clock tomorrow night, but watch how it just disappears as it moves to the south. We're back to the sunshine, and it should stay mild for a while as well, but you'll notice on our snowfall forecast yesterday it was all in Montana and Wyoming, but as we head towards Monday and Tuesday, we have a slight chance of bringing some snow showers into central Idaho, although the latest chart didn't show it. It did just a little while ago, so maybe that's continuing to stay to the east. The bottom line is this, my exclusive true view of tomorrow's weather today, 60s again tomorrow, mid-60s, beautiful, pleasant afternoons. After some frost in the morning, you will love the latter part of the day. 67 in Garden Valley, 65 in Idaho City, and that mild air in the mountains. I think it's probably even going to be milder than this 57. I think I'll have to bump that up for the McCall area, likely closer to 60 degrees again. Similar story in Stanley. Pleasant conditions for the entire state tomorrow evening. Remember, some clouds will drift into central Idaho with a couple of sprinkles not out of the question, but mostly during the dark hours. Near 70 in the Magic Valley tomorrow, and my extended forecast keeping the same weather right into and through the upcoming weekend. Very impressive conditions. It does cool down from Monday and Tuesday next week. We might get a blast of cooler weather on Tuesday.
This is a gorgeous week.
Yeah, I like it.
Enjoy it.
All right, thanks, Scott. Tax reform, President Trump's latest agenda priority, was supposed to be the focus during his trip to Capitol Hill today. Up next, why another public feud could derail the president's agenda.
6 on Your Side at 5 continues now.
After failing to repeal and replace Obamacare, the top priority now for Republicans is tax reform.
And it's the issue that has brought President Trump to the Capitol for an appearance at a regular Tuesday policy launch. ABC's Janae Norman has the latest from Capitol Hill.
Greeted by a mob of reporters and one lone protester, the president arrived for his lunch with Republican senators. Trump has some work to do to mend fences after sparring with several GOP senators, including John McCain, Bob Corker, and Mitch McConnell. But Republicans in the White House are determined to get tax legislation into law this year.
Our tax cuts will restore America's competitive edge and lower the crushing tax burden on the American people.
The Republican tax plan calls for steep cuts for corporations and potentially for individuals. It would double the standard deduction used by most Americans, shrink the number of tax brackets from 7 to 3 or 4, and repeal inheritance taxes on multi-million-dollar estates.
If there's anything that unifies Republicans, it's tax reform.
But crucial details of the plan have yet to be worked out. Democrats are urging the president to pay attention to those details.
No more tweeting. No more superficiality. Read the bill.
And even Republicans are worried about the tax plan. Senator Corker accused President Trump of overpromising. The president has said the tax bill will not affect 401k plans, mortgage deductions, or charitable deductions.
Leave this effort, if you will, to the tax writing committees. Let them do their work and not begin taking things off the table.
Meanwhile, Republican leaders say at this point they're not worried about the ongoing Corker-Trump fight on taxes and other issues, not worried that that will derail the push for tax reform. Janae Norman, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
Dinner time to breakfast can be a long stretch. Up next, if you must snack before bed, there are some tips that will help you sleep better. News in Today's Health is after the break. You're not going to like this.
Uh-oh.
You're supposed to skip the cookies and milk before bed to get a better night's sleep.
That's what they say. What snacks are the best for the rest of you and, of course, your waistline? In tonight's Health Minute, Good Morning Idaho's Rachel Garceau has tips.
In today's Health Minute, some great news for those of us who love to sleep and for those of us who love to snack, which is pretty much the entire population, I think. But we put the two together.